Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you the Baze AI recap from last weekend at UFC Vegas 56. Unfortunately for me personally as a handicapper, it wasn't a good event for me, but from Baze AI, it absolutely crushed the event. And this is why at MMAPlay365, we give you both the handicapper advice and we give you the Baze AI predictions as well, because between the two, one of us, or at least one of us, both of us are going to smash it. Baze AI, the predictions on straight picks last weekend went at 71%, which is incredible. I'm really happy with that. And we're going to break down some of those fights and what the AI was seeing right now. And we start with the breakdown from the Baze AI UFC prediction software in the solid winners section. And the first one to talk about is Alexander Volkov versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Now, personally, I bet on Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I thought it was live, but Baze AI actually had a Volkov win at 65%. Odds implied that was minus 185. And depending on if you did bet Volkov or you wanted to bet Volkov, you could have had that at around minus 150 at some places earlier on. So at minus 150 to minus 185, with the odds implied, there isn't a huge amount of value there, admitted, but there is some value nonetheless. And like I said, it was a solid win. Baze AI at 65% was relatively confident that Volkov was going to get the job done, and of course he did. However, we break that down a little bit more. Volkov by KO TKO, because that's obviously how Volkov won the fight. Baze AI had that at 41%, which odds implied is plus 142. However, if you'd bet on the KO TKO prop at the bookies, you could have got plus 300. So tremendous value there. Baze AI saying it should be plus 142, but the bookies are giving you plus 300. It's a no-brainer. Now, Volkov inside the distance, just going one step further here, 46%. So the KO TKO and the submission added together, 46%. Odds implied that's plus 116. You could have had inside the distance just in case Volkov got a submission instead of a knockout, and that was plus 275 at the bookies. So Baze AI said it should be plus 116, but the bookies are giving you plus 275. Again, plenty of value there. And the next solid winner fighter in this section, this actually was the highest percentage I've ever seen from Baze AI predict a fight, and it was Osbourne for Zarrukh Adashev, and I personally thought this fight was going to be much closer than the betting line suggested, but the Baze AI had this fight at 73.39%. So like I said, that's the highest prediction percentage we've ever seen from Baze AI. Super confident in Osbourne, who got the win relatively easily as well. So a very, very solid win there. Now at 73.39% straight, odds implied for that is minus 276. But earlier on, you could have had Osbourne, and he was minus 175 for quite a while. So minus 276 to minus 175, there's some decent value there for, like I said, the highest prediction that the AI has ever reeled out. So credit where it's due. Baze AI absolutely smashed that one. But you break that down a little bit more. Osbourne, KO TKO, of course, that's how the fight ended. And if you add the submission together with that, the submission was 31%. So the KO and TKO at 26 and the submission at 31, there's not a lot of difference between that for a fight that could potentially go on the feet, could potentially go to the mat. So if you actually add those together and think, there's not too much there and you wanted to go inside the distance, so you've got all bases covered, whether Osbourne landed the knockout or whether he did take the fight down to the mat and get a submission as well, or if Adashev took the fight to the mat, Osbourne's got arm bars and triangles off his back submissions. So the submission and knockouts were so close. If you didn't want to pick between them, you wanted to go inside the distance. Together, those add up to 57%. Odds implied, that's minus 133. You could have had Osbourne to win inside the distance at plus 175. So there's a lot of value there as well. Again, if you didn't want to choose between the knockout and submission because it was so close, there was plenty of value just sitting inside the distance, and therefore it doesn't matter whether the knockout happens or whether a submission happens. Plenty of value, another solid fight. Now moving on to another solid winner, we've got Molina versus Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Now Molina at 68% is quite high as well. There was some high predictions last week at UFC Vegas 56 from Baze AI. So odds implied at 68% is minus 213. You could have had Molina at minus 160 throughout fight week. So again, there's some value there as well. And the final solid winner, just to touch upon very quickly, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Niklas Stolze. So Benoit Saint-Denis straight at 53%, minus 13 odds implied at the book as he was minus 150, so there is really no value there. I just wanted to throw that in just because sometimes there isn't value on the straight pick, But if you delve into it a little bit deeper and look a little bit deeper, you can find some value in these fights for sure. So there was no value on the money line from Benoit Saint-Denis from what Bayes AI predicted with that percentage. But you look at the submission, that's 39%. So 39% on Benoit Saint-Denis to win by submission. He's got plenty of submissions. That is his path to victory. And obviously that's exactly what happened. But odds implied is plus 156. You could have had plus 300 via submission on the betting line. So again, Bayes AI, plus 156 odds implied. But at the bookies, you're getting plus 300. Value all day there as well. But then you take it a little bit further. Again, you had the knockout, you had the submission together, and you're getting 49% inside the distance. Odds implied, that's plus 104, and you could have had plus 230 at the betting line. So with the bookies, you're getting value there as well, and it depends on how you wanted to hit that. If you were just confident he was going to win by submission and not knockout, then you've got value there. But if you thought, you know what, I want insurance, again, I've already mentioned it before, so cover both the knockout and submission. You wanted to go inside the distance, which also covers a DQ as well. Then you're getting value there as well. Plus 230 on the betting line, odds implied, plus 104, plenty of value. And that's it for the Bayes AI recap from last weekend at UFC Vegas 56. Again, super happy with how the AI produced the results last weekend. There was plenty of value. There was gems all over the place as well. Good, solid predictions, 71% overall. I think if you want to be really specific, I think it was 71.42%. So a great weekend for Bayes AI. I'm looking forward to next week and what it does at UFC 275. Of course, we'll be back to break down and recap that UFC 275 stacked pay-per-view from the Bayes AI UFC prediction software perspective. So until then, I'm Newsome. We'll see you next week.